Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one-cent coins. Coins that most people ignore, spend without thinking, or leave forgotten in drawers. But hidden among them are rare pieces with incredible history, unique errors, and collector demand that can turn a single one-cent coin into a small fortune. The story of the 1942 D. Lincoln wheat cent begins in a dramatic moment of American history, when the United States was deeply involved in World War II and every metal resource mattered. This small one-cent coin, often misunderstood or overlooked, represents a turning point in coinage, as it was among the last full copper issues before the famous 1943 steel cents replaced it due to wartime shortages. Struck at the Denver Mint, identified by its D Mint mark, this coin carries not just monetary value, but the weight of history, linking collectors directly to a time when even the smallest denomination reflected global conflict and economic adjustment. Lincoln wheat penny became a quiet witness to an era where copper was being redirected toward ammunition and essential war equipment. Hero bullion +1. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its identity as part of one of the earliest and most widely circulated decimal coin systems in the modern world. The United States adopted decimal currency long before many other nations, and the one-cent coin became a symbol of accessibility and everyday commerce. By 1942, this humble copper piece had already been in circulation for decades, serving millions of Americans in daily transactions. Its simple design, featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln, connects political legacy with economic practicality, while the wheat stalks on the reverse symbolize growth, resilience, and prosperity during uncertain times. Rarest.org. The physical composition of the 1942 D penny is one of its most defining characteristics, especially for collectors who value authenticity and historical metallurgy. Made from approximately 95% copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc, the coin has a distinct weight, tone, and aging pattern that sets it apart from later zinc-based cents. Over time, copper oxidizes, turning from bright red to brown, and this natural transformation plays a major role in determining value. Coins that retain even a hint of their original red luster are significantly more desirable, while darker, heavily circulated pieces tell a story of decades spent passing through countless hands. Rarest.org +1. Now, when we shift focus to value, the narrative becomes even more compelling, especially for those hoping to discover hidden treasure in their collections. Official price guides show that most 1942 D pennies in average condition are worth only a small amount, often just a few cents to a few dollars depending on grade. However, the market is far more complex than basic estimates suggest, because rarity, condition, and unique characteristics can dramatically elevate a coin's worth into the thousands. Exceptional specimens, particularly those with rare errors, pristine surfaces, or extraordinary preservation, have been known to reach values far beyond standard expectations, sometimes climbing into high three- or four-figure territory in specialized auctions. Coin trackers +1. Interestingly, even coins in very dirty or worn condition can attract attention when they possess unusual traits or historical appeal. A heavily circulated 1942 D penny might seem insignificant at first glance, but collectors often look deeper, examining strike quality, die variations, and authenticity. In some cases, a coin that appears dull and aged may still hold hidden value if it belongs to a rare subset or exhibits distinctive features. This unpredictability fuels the excitement of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary coin can transform into a prized collectible under expert evaluation. Hero bullion. From an investment perspective, the 1942 D wheat penny represents a fascinating blend of accessibility and potential. While not every example will make someone wealthy, the broader category of vintage copper cents continues to gain popularity among collectors worldwide. As older coins become scarcer in circulation and more people enter the hobby, demand naturally increases. This steady growth, combined with the historical significance of pre-1943 copper issues, gives these coins a long-term appreciation trend that appeals to both beginners and seasoned investors alike. Pennyverse.info. For collectors aiming to maximize value, careful attention to condition and certification is essential. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a detailed scale, assessing wear, luster, strike sharpness, and overall eye appeal. A properly graded and authenticated coin often commands a much higher price than an unverified one, as buyers gain confidence in its authenticity and quality. Joining collector communities, whether online or in local clubs, also provides valuable insights, helping enthusiasts learn how to identify rare varieties, avoid counterfeits, and stay updated on market trends. 1942-penny.com. Beyond its financial aspects, the 1942 D. Lincoln wheat cent holds deep cultural symbolism that transcends borders. It represents resilience during wartime, the evolution of currency, and the enduring legacy of a nation's economic system. Today, collectors from around the world seek these coins not just for profit, but for the stories they carry and the connection they create with the past. As time continues to pass, and surviving examples become harder to find, the long-term value of such coins is likely to rise, reinforcing their place as both historical artifacts and enduring investments in the world of numismatics. The story of the 1944 D. Lincoln wheat cent begins in the shadow of World War II, when the United States was forced to rethink even its smallest coin. In 1943, pennies were struck in steel to conserve copper for ammunition, but by 1944 the mint returned to copper using recycled war materials, including melted shell casings. 1944, D. Lincoln wheat penny was born from this dramatic transition, carrying within it the physical memory of wartime industry and sacrifice. With over 430 million struck in Denver alone, it was never meant to be rare, yet its historical timing gives it a deep narrative weight that collectors find irresistible. USA Coin Book +1. Despite being commonly misunderstood, this coin is not a Morgan dollar at all but a 1-cent piece, part of the famous Lincoln wheat series designed by Victor D. Brenner. It represents one of the earliest widely circulating decimal coins in American daily life, reinforcing the simplicity of a base 10 monetary system that shaped modern commerce. Its familiar design, Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and wheat ears on the reverse, made it instantly recognizable, and for decades it symbolized stability during uncertain times. The 1944 D version stands out because it marks the return to traditional metal composition after the unusual steel experiment, bridging two distinct eras in U.S. coinage. Coins and collections. What makes this coin particularly fascinating is its composition. Unlike modern pennies, the 1944 D is made of approximately 95% copper, with small amounts of zinc and sometimes tin, giving it a rich reddish-brown tone that ages beautifully over time. This copper was not ordinary. It came from recycled ammunition, embedding a wartime legacy into every coin. Even in very dirty or heavily circulated condition, traces of this metallic heritage remain, and collectors often value the authenticity of an untouched, uncleaned surface more than a polished one. USA Coin Book +1. Now comes the part that excites most viewers, the value. In reality, a typical 1944 D wheat penny in worn or dirty condition is usually worth only a few cents to a few dollars, depending on detail and preservation. However, under certain circumstances, such as exceptional preservation, rare color designation, or unique minting errors, these coins can climb dramatically in value. Rare high-grade examples or unusual variants have been known to reach thousands, and in extreme cases of rare compositions like steel errors, values have surged into 5 or even 6 figures at auction. This is where the myth of $1,000 to $9,000 or more comes alive, not in every coin, but in the rare, extraordinary survivors. USA Coin Book +1. Valuofa 1944wheatpenny.com +1. The growing demand among collectors is fueled by this very unpredictability. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance may hide subtle details, a double die and off-metal strike, or a pristine surface beneath grime that can elevate its worth dramatically. This sense of hidden treasure keeps the 1944 D-wheat penny in constant circulation within the numismatic community. Even beginners are drawn to it because it's accessible, yet holds the possibility of discovery, making it both an entry-level collectible and a serious investment candidate. For collectors, the most important factor is condition. A dirty coin should never be cleaned, as cleaning can permanently damage its surface and drastically reduce its value. Instead, focus on professional grading and certification through recognized services, which assign a grade based on wear, luster, and strike quality. Coins graded in very fine VF or higher carry significantly more value than worn examples, and certified coins often sell for higher prices due to buyer confidence. Joining coin collecting communities, attending shows, and learning grading standards can transform a casual hobby into a profitable pursuit. Fiend accounting. From an investment perspective, the 1944 D penny represents a long-term opportunity rather than a guaranteed fortune. Its value lies not just in current market prices, but in its historical significance and the gradual appreciation of rare varieties. As time passes, high-quality examples become scarcer, and demand continues to grow, especially as new collectors enter the market. Coins tied to historical events, especially World War II, tend to maintain strong interest, making them relatively stable assets compared to more speculative collectibles. Beyond money, this coin carries deep cultural symbolism. It represents resilience, transformation, and the ability of a nation to adapt even its smallest currency during times of crisis. Internationally, collectors admire it not just as an American coin, but as a global artifact of wartime history, forged from recycled weapons into something as humble as a penny. Over decades, its value has quietly appreciated, not just in dollars, but in meaning, proving that even a small, dirty copper coin can hold a story worth far more than its face value, and perhaps one day, far more than anyone ever expected. The story of the 1958 D. Lincoln cent begins at the historic United States Mint, where this coin marked the final chapter of the famous wheat penny design series. Struck in massive numbers at the Denver facility, this coin represents the closing moment of an era that started in 1909 with President Abraham Lincoln becoming the first real historical figure to appear on a regular U.S. coin. That decision itself symbolized a turning point in American coinage, reflecting the evolution toward a more modern decimal currency system rooted in national identity and everyday usability. By 1958, this humble 1-cent coin had already become deeply embedded in American culture, passing through millions of hands and silently witnessing decades of economic and social change. What makes the 1958 D-cent especially fascinating is its composition and physical identity. Unlike modern pennies, this coin is made of 95% copper, with a small mixture of tin and zinc, giving it a rich reddish tone when preserved well. This copper composition is not just a technical detail. It is one of the main reasons collectors value these coins today. Over time, exposure to air and handling turns that bright red surface into brown, and when a coin is found in a very dirty condition, it often means the original luster has faded, making high-grade examples far more desirable and scarce. USA Coin Book +1. Although millions of these coins were minted, condition is everything in the world of numismatics. A heavily worn or dirty 1958 D-penny may appear ordinary, but in very fine or uncirculated condition, its value can increase dramatically. While common circulated pieces are typically worth only a few cents, pristine examples with strong detail and original color can reach into the thousands of dollars depending on grade and demand. This dramatic gap between worn and well-preserved coins is what fuels the excitement among collectors, turning an everyday object into a potential hidden treasure. Coins value. Now imagine discovering one of these coins in extremely fine condition, even if it appears dirty at first glance. That dirt could be masking a rare survivor with minimal wear, and once properly evaluated, its value could range from around $1,000 to $9,000 or even higher for exceptional pieces. This is where the thrill of coin collecting truly begins. The idea that something overlooked and underestimated might actually hold significant financial value. It's not just about age. It's about preservation, detail, and originality. The growing demand for the 1958 D. Lincoln cent is closely tied to its historical significance as the final wheat penny. Collectors around the world actively seek this coin to complete their sets, especially in higher grades. The fact that it represents the end of a design era makes it more than just currency. It becomes a collectible artifact. As time passes, fewer high-quality examples remain available, increasing competition and pushing prices upward in auctions and private sales. For collectors and investors, this coin offers both excitement and opportunity. The key to unlocking its true value lies in understanding grading standards and authenticity. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a crucial role in determining a coin's worth by assigning it a certified grade. Coins that are officially graded and encapsulated often sell for significantly higher prices because buyers trust their authenticity and condition. Coins value. Serious collectors also know that success in this field comes from knowledge and community. Joining coin clubs, participating in auctions, and engaging with other enthusiasts can provide valuable insights and opportunities. Understanding how to identify original surfaces, avoid cleaned coins, and recognize rare varieties can make the difference between a small find and a life-changing discovery. A dirty coin should never be cleaned aggressively, as improper cleaning can drastically reduce its value and destroy its collectible appeal. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1958 D. Lincoln cent carries a powerful cultural symbolism. It represents simplicity, resilience, and the everyday life of a nation built on small transactions and big dreams. Its international appeal continues to grow as collectors from around the world appreciate its history and craftsmanship. Over the long term, coins like this tend to appreciate in value, especially as fewer high-quality examples survive. What may look like a simple dirty penny today could very well become a prized asset tomorrow, proving that even the smallest pieces of history can hold extraordinary significance.